If you attend a traditional Christian wedding and listen closely, you are almost guaranteed to hear the same verses recited at the altar. Love is patient, love is kind, love does not envy or boast. For generations, these words from 1 Corinthians have served as the standard for marital romance. But these ruins provide the actual context for that letter. The city of Corinth was home to a Christian community defined by severe dysfunction. They were fractured by internal disputes and competing for status, effectively tearing their own church apart. Paul wrote these lines as a blunt intervention. He was delivering a corrective blueprint to a community in crisis, establishing a set of restraints for people who were failing to live out the basic tenets of their faith. Today, people walk down the aisle expecting to effortlessly merge lives with a soulmate. Yet, a few years later, many of those same couples realize they are living in the same house as strangers, completely isolated from the person sleeping next to them. Marriage counselors frequently encounter couples carrying unaddressed psychological baggage into the union. They bring childhood traumas, fears of betrayal, and severe insecurities directly into their shared life. We live in a society that requires years of rigorous training before allowing someone to practice engineering or medicine, yet we allow these same individuals to blindly enter the complex psychological environment of marriage with almost no formal preparation. This leaves modern Christian marriage in a precarious position. It acts as a bridge, carrying the weight of ancient theology, while standing on the often broken reality of human psychology. The theological aim of Christian marriage centers on a state of total integration, a concept known as oneness. This animation represents the metaphor found in the book of Genesis, where the creation of the woman from the man's rib signifies a shared identity. The text suggests that spouses are designed to be a safe habitat for one another, functioning like a fish in the water or a bird in the sky. Look at these ornate crowns worn during an Eastern Orthodox ceremony. Both Orthodox and Catholic traditions treat this union as a sacrament, or a sacred mystery, a physical act that reflects divine grace. Reaching this level of oneness requires a degree of exposure that human nature often resists. When a person feels vulnerable, their internal survival mechanisms trigger defense responses to protect against the threat of pain. This flowchart maps these defenses. Psychology suggests an adult's capacity for trust is guided by their childhood caregivers. Watch how this cycle loops. Individuals with abusive caregivers often develop self-sabotaging behaviors, subconsciously seeking similar patterns in partners to resolve old wounds. Before the wedding even begins, the psychological adhesive required to bond two people together is often damaged by the pressures and traumas of the world. To manage this complexity, Christians look to New Testament household codes, such as those found in Ephesians 5. However, there is significant disagreement over how to implement these structural blueprints. This visualizes Christian egalitarianism, mutual submission where authority is shared based on competence. Moving vertically illustrates complementarianism. Spouses share equal worth but have distinct roles, like male leadership. Expanding the male boundary shows biblical patriarchy, mandating male authority in all spheres. While couples may focus on which authority structure to adopt, the architecture of the home remains unstable if the psychological foundation is fractured. Beyond the debates over authority, the functional foundation for these models remains the sacrificial love described in 1 Corinthians. Theology frames marriage as more than a legal contract or a biological necessity. It is described as a transformative process. Look at how these elements fuse under intense heat. Christian marriage is often described as a crucible, an environment designed to force two people to confront and process their deepest personal wounds together. Within this secure environment, the consistent support of a spouse provides a space where past neglect or toxic patterns can be directly challenged. It offers the possibility of repairing childhood wounds through a new, secure attachment. This journey requires a lifelong willingness to remain vulnerable in one's brokenness. It is a shared psychological effort that attempts to mirror the unconditional nature of divine love.